Hi, my name is Tom, and I was recently transplanted from Philadelphia to Seattle. As an altar boy back in Philadelphia, I was always taught to pray for the souls in Purgatory. My Protestant brethren argue that there is no such place, but I can assure you that it exists at the Washington Department of Licensing. I went to the DOL near my office in Tacoma and found 500 Mexican expatriates already there. I found out later that the Seattle metropolitan area is a sanctuary for illegals and offers services like driver's license without birth certificates. So much so that the TSA will stop accepting it as valid identification next year. Nice job, guys. Anyway, I took my now serving triple-digit number and waited my turn as the government workers simulated time-lapse photography. I should have been suspicious about the wait time when I looked around and saw several posted warnings that it is, quote, illegal to threaten a Washington state employee. As the Earth made its full rotation around the sun, my number was finally called. I told the somber state employee in the most unthreatening way that I could muster that I needed to transfer my Pennsylvania license and registration to Washington state, please. He snatched the PA license from my hand, had me sign a form, pay a fee, and then instructed me to take another now serving number for the registration transfer. I suddenly realized the impetus for all the warning signs. After another solar revolution, I successfully transferred my truck's registration and immediately left the premises. Some weeks later, when my new license arrived in the mail, a friend noticed that they hadn't transferred my motorcycle endorsement and I was no longer legally authorized to operate my Goldwing. I returned to Perdition to point out their error, and I swear that the same Mexican expats were still there. I took another number, settled into my chair, and began reading War and Peace. The same state employee who had made the error informed me that he could not rectify it. It would have to be corrected at my county's main branch in Seattle. So I scheduled a day off from work a few weeks later and journeyed to the even busier DOL in the city. Having already finished Tolstoy's masterpiece in Tacoma, I brought along my Funkin' Wagnall Encyclopedia volumes A through L to help pass the time. Somewhere between kangaroos and catsup, my number was called and I was informed that I was misinformed. They couldn't help me in Seattle, and I would have to go to my local DOL office in Covington. It took me a few attempts to find the local office because it was nestled in a strip mall with the department identification written on the door in 6-point font. I was jubilant to find only one other person in line ahead of me. 45 minutes later, however, I was told that the Covington office only handles vehicle licensing, not driver's licensing. This state fossil informed me that the only office capable of rectifying the endorsement omission was the office that omitted it in the first place. At this point, I researched Washington State Law RCW 9A46020 to see if there were any loopholes that would allow me to threaten the state employee who had effectively squandered large portions of my life. Failing to find such a provision, I returned to the original office with a handful of Xanax in my system. I believe the people in Purgatory must have been praying for me because my number was called within a few short hours. The very same state employee now admitted that he could help correct the error, but the cutoff was 3 weeks ago and would require me retaking the motorcycle license test. Sorry. When I was released from Pierce County Jail later that month, I retook the driver's test. Unfortunately, the course was more geared towards crotch rockets than my couch on wheels. I ended up running over every single traffic cone, only managed to make a figure U instead of a full figure 8, and couldn't even see the box on the ground, let alone stop my front tire in it. But I passed, and I got my endorsement restored, proving what I already knew. A, Purgatory is a synonym for the DOL, and B, driver's licenses are merely a formality in Washington state. For more on that subject, see the traffic rant on my YouTube channel.